Hey everyone, this is Scott from Forgot to Grow Podcast. Welcome to another edition of ReWatching Star Trek Discovery. Today I'm talking about Season 1, Episode 10, Despite Yourself. I'm just going to be starting off with the plot summary so you guys have some idea of what I was talking about in this episode, and then just talking about my favorite elements from this episode, things I liked, and etc. So let's just start with that plot summary, which says Discovery's crew determines that they have arrived in a parallel mirror universe, with Stamets now unconscious and unable to power the spore drive. Tyler confronts L'Rell and she attempts to use a verbal cue to trigger something within him, though he fights this off. From a data core from a wrecked Klingon ship, they learn that this universe is ruled by the human Tarn Empire, who are fighting a resistance that includes species such as Klingons and Vulcans. Here, Burnham is the former captain of the ISS Shinzu, presumed dead after an attack by the fugitive Lorca. The ISS Discovery is captained by Tilly's counterpart, so she and the crew pretend to be their mere selves. They discover Burnham and Lorca in the Shinzu under the ruse that Burnham has been hunting Lorca since her presumed death and has now captured him. Tyler accompanies them after having killed Calber, who is when he was informing him that Tyler appears to have gone under some major surgical modifications. On the Shinzu, Lorca is tortured while Burnham assumes command. So this episode was pretty interesting. They figure out that they're in a mirror universe. I really liked the direction they decided to take this show with this episode, with the halfway point going with this, thrown into this really, really big sci-fi element, one that doesn't appear too often in Star Trek, if I remember correctly, previous, like in the other series. Don't quote me on that. But I just like that kind of thing. I'm always a fan of a mirror universe, especially when you get evil versions of your main cast. Like, oh, they all just get to put mustaches on or badass darker clothing. Yeah, I'm down for that. So I really enjoyed this episode the first time I watched it, and rewatching it was just as fun. I did kind of notice there was a lot of a focus on the little differences between them, which makes sense. That's how you tell the difference. It's mirror universe, but I felt it was a little slow in this episode in particular. They could have done more in this episode. There was a lot of talking I noticed, but anyways, remember, show don't tell. Is that the expression? Anyways, that's not the point. Some of the other stuff I liked about this episode is I liked that Tilly gets to dress up as her counterpart and play evil Tilly. She's kind of so sweet. Her character is normally such a nice girl, and seeing her have to be so kind of mean and vicious, it's just fun kind of take on that, and I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that all the the mirror universe Empire uniforms are kind of cooler, but that's just me. I like black, which is ironic because I'm wearing a white t-shirt. Anyways, what else do I have written down? Oh yeah, Tyler kills the medical guy, and I was just like, oh yeah, I forgot that happened. But then I remembered it happened, and I was like, oh yeah, there he goes. And I don't really love this Tyler storyline. I think it's interesting. I'm pretty sure he ends up being a Klingon, if I remember correctly. I'm not sure though who was transformed. We learned in this episode that some of his limbs had been shortened and that he had potentially had a memory overlaid on top of his original consciousness. So it's interesting, but I don't love the way they do certain things with it. I don't know, I'm just conflicted about that character, I guess, because I enjoy the idea of it. I don't know if the execution is the best, if that makes sense. But yeah, what else do I have written down for this one? The captain uses an accent at one point. It was a little Scottish one, and I thought that was a fun little nod to the original series with the head engineer being Mr. Scott. So yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, that's all the notes and stuff I had for this episode. The main thing is I really love us diving into this mirror universe with this show, and I'm excited to check out the next couple episodes where they kind of have a little bit more resolutions to what they popped up in this one. Be sure to let me know what you guys thought of this episode in the comments below. What did you like? Did you not like? I always like hearing your guys' thoughts on that stuff. But thanks again for joining me today, and have a good one.